acceptance criteria and examples. So now that's about the template, and now we're going to talk about what kind of workflows this template will stem. So I essentially think that workflows are driven by the which phase of the product we are. If it's a greenfield product and it's a brand new development, and then there needs to be an inception phase. Sometimes even legacy modernization also requires inception phases. There are three key objectives there. One is to envision the system. Secondly is get a sign off. So everybody says, okay, we're going to do it, and everybody is committed. And third is to set up the environment to get going. And secondly is to create a business and architectural vision in this phase. So the workflows here are very different from the construction phase, which essentially focuses on collaborating closely with stakeholders and users and development team, and that's where we basically drill down into stories and sprints very aggressively, and a lot of analysis and design does happen and should happen in this construction phase. Construction phase, in my opinion, should be driven by testing and automation, CI/CD, and finally, agile is definitely a great way of doing it. And ideas like time box sprints get things done in some kind of sane manner. Finally, the third phase is the production phase, is when we have built sufficient product that we can take into some form of production from out of a demo phase to the customer. And the production is that's where the reality, that's where the rubber hits the road. And focus here is on production and operationalization versus construction or building or design or analysis. So the kind of workflows there will be very different. And this is a phase we want to do our final testing, UATs, documentation training. That's where we are really at a good place where we can either do video documentation or other web-based documentation for the users. So I'm only going to describe two workflows in this presentation. One is the inception workflow, which is at the product launch. We can concurrently or iteratively start these 5 activities of budget and funding, initial scoping of the product, and then building a product, high-level product vision, at least build a business case, and then some rough high-level estimates of in time and resources and money, what will it take us to build it. And then some POCs are valuable in this phase to at least do some degree of viability assessment. And once we have all these things, they converge into a sign-off. Everybody is agreed. So let's go ahead and build it, and which leads to 4 key activities in the workflow, which is build a team. If the team is there, then do we need any additional members or not? If there are more than one team, so set up the context for the teams. Then the modeling in terms of user stories, data definition, and high-level mockups. That kind of perspective is launched here. Also, technical architecture is laid out at this stage. And finally, most important one is to set up the environment. This is where we basically set up end-to-end environment. And I would even go on to say that even at least the first release of CI/CD should be done at this point in time when we're setting it up. So then after that, it's easier for us to incorporate. And things like agreeing on unit testing upfront. It is futile to go for unit test in the middle of the product. It doesn't happen. And the second workflow we're going to talk about is this pretty standard boilerplate workflow, which is the sprint workflow, and it has backlog grooming where the product owner and the Scrum Master collaborate to basically highlight the stories and prioritize the stories, and sometimes team can be involved too. And from there we go to sprint planning. And sprint planning essentially sprint poker and other ways to prioritize and break down the tasks and assign the tasks that have to be done. And then of course daily scrum. And one thing we can do after daily scrum is if there are multiple teams, we can have a functional sync where the functional team members can actually have a subsequent sync up after the daily scrum. For example, all the testing people from different teams, feature teams can have a quick 15-minute stand up there. And from there, we need to a cycle of multiple deployments, internal deployments, we are saying. And then it is also possible that one of these sprints can lead to an external deployment to the customer. Um, and after deployments, we can have either we can have a demo which is a sprint review, and that's where should be typically led by uh, the the product owner, because that's a good way, assuming that product owner is not technical. So then it's a really good way to actually test assess that, okay, does every can the users the product owner can actually proxy with the users there really. And after demo is done, then sprint retro. This is where big motivation is to identify lessons learned, what to do, what not to do, and what to do more. Those ideas are can be here. There are more workflows we can have, but I think I've taken quite a bit of time so far. It's like 40 minutes, I think. So thank you very much for patiently listening to me and presenting my ideas. And I'm really looking forward to meeting you folks at Aurea. Um, Thank you. Have a good day.